listening to the Esq.Marketing podcast, hosted by Matthew Lauren, president of Esq.Marketing, where he features successful solo and SMB law firms from all over the United States. Now, let's get started with the show.
I'm so used to doing podcasts. I've literally done hundreds and hundreds of them. Not so much for the legal side, but for other stuff that I do. Because I actually coach lawyers as lawyers, but not in business. I coach them with stress and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I do a lot for legal professionals that are needing, that maybe are under crisis. You know, they're maybe going through big cases and stuff like that, and a lot of them are stressed, don't know where to turn, and so the business aspect is a small part. So for me, Help Lawyer was a passion because I was interested in the legal industry. Being an immigrant that came over to America and not having all the tools at my disposal, and then realizing that the legal industry was absolutely crazy. And years ago, when I was a bouncer in a nightclub in Scotland, and
really,
and my partner was a lass called Alison, and she was going through a law degree. That's what she used to do on the side, as she was doing a law degree. So I would kind of sit and I'd be fascinated with all this stuff, and I would research things with her as well. And she'd talk about the cases that she had to do and all the different things that she had to do to become a solicitor and all the different. And then I started looking into it, and I was fascinated, and I was pretty good at it. And she said, "You should do a degree in law or something. You'd probably ace it, no problem. I'll get one of these. I can put my hat on anything and deal with anything.
Yeah."
And I just got it, and so when I was emigrating, I looked at all the immigration laws and stuff like that, and then other people that were maybe getting divorced, and then I started looking at them laws, and then there was a business that I was helping out with marketing that had some legal issues, and they couldn't afford a lawyer, so I started looking into things and started writing some content and stuff for them. And then I bought Help Lawyer as an old wrecked domain.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so what was wrong with it? Was it all spam?
Listed by Google. I bought it for like $5 freaking bucks. God knows how long ago it was, years and years and years and years ago. And it just spoke to me, and I'm like, I'm going to do something. And then my immigration attorney was an ex-military guy. I'm ex-military. And he was talking through things, and he says, something, I'm sick fed up of being, I don't know whether I should mention him, but I'm sick fed up and on Avo and everything else. And I've built websites and things And I says, I can probably do something like that. I could probably build a solution for that, just for the hell of it, And I asked him, did you want to be a partner with me? And he's like, no, I'm too busy and everything else. I says, I'm going to build it. And so I did. And then it just became a passion. Nice. And then I have this kind of strategy. I like playing chess and stuff.
So was that like the impetus for building it?
What can I do?
So you said Avo, and like there's a lot of directories out there, right? Find Law, Justia.
Oh, tons.
Was there something missing from those ones that helped you kind of decide?
It's the personal touch that's missing.
What is?
It's the personal touch that's missing.
Yeah.
It's the personal touch from somebody like me that has a passion for it. Like I'll nag an attorney like an old woman. I'm like, dude, where's your content? Where's your video? You could be doing this. You could be putting a banner up here. We could promote this for you. We could do this. And it's like, they're just so friggin' lazy. And then I decided, right, I'm going to start attacking the SEO companies that are using it. So I did, and I would I would basically attack them and say, come on guys, you're supposed to know what the heck you're doing. This is just ridiculous, So I push a lot. And I've built it up to, I think at last count, we've got just over 700 law firms that utilize it now.
Really? I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah. And it's well respected now. There's nearly 700 law firms on there.
And there's you have 700 paid subscribers?
Oh no, some of them are like, for instance, I have agency accounts. So one of the big legal marketing companies has got like a 30 or a 40 account limit. They pay like $450 a month, and they get 50 accounts or 40 accounts, whatever it is. And they add people and because they've got an agency dashboard. Then there's a lot of smaller ones that are paying. So I mean, there's a lot that's paying. And there's a lot.
That's amazing, though. That many
launched it that I got in free because I needed lawyers on there, and I've just left them.
It's cool that you got so many subscribers, whether they're paid or not. I mean, I remember working with you a few years ago, and you're still kind of working on building it up. So it's neat to see that it's authoritative now.
Yeah, it's definitely got some authority, and I think the biggest thing I think is like, I know to me now, the directory, I don't even like calling it a directory. I like to call it a content marketing, a legal marketing suite.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's so many different tools that I have in there. And then, of course, I have my own personal touches and stuff. And I set up things like doing attorney interviews. So I would send out a form, fill in the interview. My team will turn it into a really nice piece of content, and we'll put it on Evergreen Promotion for you. And I've been doing that. Some of them are so lazy, and that's the problem with the legal industry. They want results, but they're not prepared to work, and they use the same excuse: I don't have time.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, if you can spend even 30 minutes a week doing something, your return on investment is going to be tenfold. And then I have leads that come in all the time, and they don't answer the leads.
that's cool that you said it's a suite of marketing tools. What I like how you differentiate it from a directory, because when you think of a directory, yeah, just like you create a profile, you upload some images, a video, maybe a link to your website, and that's it. But what kind of tools are available in there?
So there's video marketing on there. There's audio that you can use as well. There's written content, so for articles that get distributed as well. And then, so there's a whole plethora of different things that we can utilize. Then they've got the review section, and then they've got they've got like where they can put their testimonials up and stuff like that. And then they have services. They can put separate services up. They could even have a service structure on there where they could say, for this service, it's going to be a $200 consultation or a $500 consultation. This is how much it is an hour. We're doing a free. It's got a lot of lead generation features in it as well. But the beauty of it is that because it's really good quality links that I get from it as well, I have other assets that I own. So I have lawsuitinformation.org, which is about a domain authority, about 20 odd or 25 or something. And it's just a blog. It's just a news blog. And I'm like, write an article, get it on there, link it back to your profile, link it to your website. So you're getting a bit of a silo going. You're getting the good structure going, and you're getting authority, and you're getting relevancy. And then, so there's so many different ways that I look at it. And then you've got your video library, your own video library there. And every time somebody puts a video and actually, takes some time and writes, say, 300 words, unique content, link them back, our system will take it, and then I'll put that into my social media management system. I'll pull it in on an RSS feed, and I'll start to spread it out. So you're getting social signals, you're getting all sorts.
Okay. Yeah, that's different. So do you see a big difference between...
The thing that's different about it is, Avo and everybody else is that they're a directory that you go on there and people are just looking for links. I'm looking to serve them in a better way and to really be more proactive in giving them a good service.
Do you see a big difference in the attorneys that are using video versus ones that aren't? I get that question a lot, like if they should be doing video, what types of video they should be doing, and what kinds of things do you see on there?
There's informational and educational videos, but here's the biggest thing that the attorneys are not recognizing with videos. It's all about building trust and building an emotional connection with that person who might have an issue. The problem that I see in a lot of attorney videos is like, have you been caught in an accident? Have you been doing this? Have you been doing this? Call us because we just got a $2 million claim.
It's like a commercial,
There's no trust in attorneys at the moment. Nobody frigging trusts them, right? It's all anybody sees psychologically is it's an attorney that's going to cost me $400, $500 an hour. Mm-hmm. If you get an attorney, a lawyer, to be raw and upfront and be like the common man and the common people and show that side of them as well as the professional side, the amount of authority and the amount of trust that they generate is phenomenal because it sticks in the mind of the person that's watching them. I would like to see attorneys coming away from the whole just let's do an introduction video of all our services and let's, like Chris did one with one of these, and he must have paid 10, 20, 30,000 for it. And I remember it, and it was Matt Dolman, right? Yeah. I like Matt Dolman because he was one of the first on there. I've kept him on there forever. He's been on there forever.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he was. I actually sent him some business as well. So Matt's video was everything. I'm like, man, that's awesome, but it's the same as every other video out there. I'd like to see Matt freaking cooking on a barbecue and saying, and oh, by the way, we had this case and we had that case, something that's raw, something that's natural, that's not put on, not as a show. Because even if we look at the way the algorithms are changing, for instance, on Instagram and all these different social media platforms, they are choosing raw content, real content, than something. They're so intelligent that their algorithm can pick up whether it's something that's made up or whether it's, so there's a place for both, but I'd like to see more natural stuff.
The metrics probably show that too when people interact with that content. So if you see something that's obviously staged or not genuine, you're probably not going to engage with it much. You're not going to comment on it, like it, or watch it for very long. But when you see the stuff that is raw in real life, I feel like that's the kind of stuff everybody wants to watch on the internet.
Everybody wants to do it. They want to hear real stories. They want to hear about their struggles. They want to be able to communicate. Like I communicate with my immigration lawyer. I'll communicate with him, Matt, chatting away to him, and he was like, yeah, I was up the range the other day, and I was just, he then drops the whole thing, yeah, I was taking my private jet out. I'm like, yeah, how many But he's an ex-military guy, and he's really, he's really grounded, and he'll send a picture to me, and he'll be like, I was at my daughter's graduation, and this is awesome. And then you maybe put something, together for him. But inherently in the legal industry, there's a mass amount of laziness versus high expectation. There's high expectation, but they don't want to do anything about it.
Yeah. So there's, you said there's a dashboard on the back end of helplawyer.com. Does everyone get access to that, or is that only on the agency side?
No, everybody's got their own profile dashboard, but the agency side, you have a sub-account profile dashboard where you can control all your clients.
Okay. And then
so
for
put your clients on there, and you can just log into each and every one of those systems.
For an individual attorney, though, can they log in and see stats on their profile and things like that? Or
they never do, because and see, a lot of the time they'll say, "I only want your backlink. I'm not really interested in putting I'm like, dude, you put some content out there.
Yeah.
It's all about eyeballs seeing your content and making a raw emotional connection. If yes, I can give you a great backlink, and yes, we'll put it out there, but man, you're just wasting what you have at your disposal.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something you can do in terms of education on tracking of referrals coming from helplawyer.com or leads coming from there. That might be the next step, so they can see the value in it.
I suggested to an attorney, I can't remember who it was, an attorney. I says, look, get yourself like a Search.io account. Just have an account shortener, put your content out there, and have it, have that link used in your content, your videos and stuff, and then you'll track it where it's coming from. But we also track in the dashboard. You've got like a profile section, and you'll have an analytics section in the dashboard. And you can go in and you see how many people went to your profile, how many people clicked onto your website, how many people clicked on to call your office, how many people sent you a message, what social media channels they jumped onto from your profile. So it's quite good. That's
cool. Yeah. So what's in the works right now? You got something new coming out for the platform? Are you guys always working on something?
I have been developing. So here's the thing. I am actually going to be redeveloping the whole platform. I've been working on a SaaS application in the publishing and media industry for 2.5 years, and it's got to the point where we're getting into the beta stage. And what we're going to do after that's launched in the publishing side of things is take that software and that what we develop is moving over to Help Lawyer. So we'll have, hopefully we're going to have the ability where they can, they'll be able to connect and make a video call. We can actually connect with the customer live and on the, their cell phones and stuff like that. We're going to try and take it to the next level and offer them far more in the way of, also bringing in where we can, link in with Clio and stuff like that, and Panther and all them kind of things. So we've been developing that system for the last 2.5 years, and it's getting to the point now where once we roll that out on beta, it will just roll out to Help Lawyer as well, and we'll change the whole strategy, the whole direction of it.
Those integrations sound cool. I just spoke with an attorney the other day who that was one thing she really liked about her current provider was they integrated with Clio, and like anytime somebody called the firm, the contact information showed up in their CMS and or their sales management system, and it was really handy.
That's what we're going to try and do, and we're going to try and take it to more on media content, more on video and audio. Like my new system is hopefully going to integrate with a lot more audio podcasts and stuff out there, and draw them in and start to promote them, and hopefully have like a one-stop marketing platform for the attorney where they can share direct from their profile as well, connect their website, share their stuff, publish their articles to their website, as well as on the I hate using the directory, but on Help Lawyer on the content platform. So that's my plans for the future. Of course, that takes a lot of finances and a lot of work. And the good thing is that I'm doing it based on another SaaS application I'm building for the media industry, which it'll already be built, so the investment will be negligible to move it over.
Yeah, well, that sounds cool. So do you think that's really gonna put some juice behind the marketing aspect of it?
It's going to be totally unique to like Avo and everything else. It's totally. I'm trying to really take it thinking outside of the box.
Yeah.
So that it really. Here's the thing. I want it to benefit smaller law firms who are in a big, they're in a big pond full of sharks and got nowhere else to go but that pond. You see, there's a lot of bad lawyers out there. There's a lot of good lawyers out there. There's a lot of good lawyers that don't know nothing about marketing, don't know nothing about content, are wet behind the ears, and they just can't compete with a big agency. And I've kind of moved away from the whole idea of pay-per-click or even integrating ads or anything, because these lawyers cannot afford that.
It's expensive.
The cost per click.
Yeah, if you're a brand new PI attorney and you're trying to bid on terms, even in a moderate-sized geographic location, I mean, it's like $70, $130, $180 a click for.
And look at the amount of click fraud.
Yeah, there's that too.
And I mean, as much as Google's trying to do to battle it, it's a continual battle. I mean, I do content marketing in the pest control industry. So I don't do marketing in the legal industry as such, but I have pest control clients that I run an agency for, a media marketing agency. And I have that problem with click fraud and all that kind of stuff, So I try to streamline as much as possible through just complete content and media.
How do you...
and also in the HVAC industry. So for instance, in the HVAC industry for one of my clients in Florida, I generated like 274 real hot leads for HVAC in a month.
Nice.
That's $3,000, $4,000 worth of system, and maybe that's a lot of money for them.
Yeah, on the click fraud, how do you? I know Google tries to refund invalid click activity or whatever, but I don't think they do a big portion of it. I mean, how do you avoid that as an?
I try to get as much as possible through phone conversion, phone leads and
conversion. Okay, instead of like
get away from the text ads.
Instead of like form fills on a website.
Yeah, because there's so much even for the form fills. Or the other thing that I'll do is pre-qualify them to go through and fill in a form to make an appointment, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But I think it's worse in the legal industry because the click fraud is so high, I see. And this is where I see that the lawyers, the legal industry, are not wholly turning to modern media. I don't see them, doing as much in video as they should be doing.
No, it's really the bigger firms that I see doing video, doing commercials, billboards, and more so because they have the funds and they're at that level where they can have weight in the market as opposed to, having to track every dollar to make sure it's return on investment. But yeah, I mean, I think video is important. I think there's a place for PPC.
It's getting less.
Yeah,
I'm finding a lot of people are searching. you know, the other thing for I think lawyers need to think about is good quality content, asking,
Yes.
you know, answering questions that would be answered. So we get them, you know, FAQ snippets and things like that in there, and utilizing it. And then what I don't see that doesn't seem to happen, you know, I can take a piece of content, say on Help Lawyer, and write a really good piece of content on there, maybe 2,000 words or so. I can develop maybe 30 pieces of unique content just from that one article. And that kind of strategy, I don't see lawyers using much. I mean, they could read that article themselves into a podcast or into an audio file. Bam, we've got an audio. And at the end of the day, we've also got the voice search. I think voice search is huge. And not a lot of people are catching on to that. And not a lot of lawyers are catching on to that. And so you can utilize your content even in the voice search side of things. And then, you know, you can make videos out of that. You can make short snippet, snackable videos, you know, micro content that leads them to a bigger, you know, their website or their landing page or something like that. You know, and I don't see a lot of one content. I see even some of the other agencies that are out there and that are utilizing my system. As I said to you before, there's an inherent laziness about it, and they'll put a piece of content out and that's it, and it's just to get the link. And it's so sad because I think that's quite a good piece of content. I could turn that into a video, I could turn that into an audio, I could really get some good exposure for that little law firm. But they don't do it.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, excellence is much harder to achieve than mediocrity. So your core audience, smaller law firms, rather than
I don't think for Help Lawyer. Yeah, we've got a couple of big players that utilizes, but I don't have the passion for the big players. I have the passion for the small lawyers, the ones that are trying to make their mark, trying to make their own. I don't know, their own mark in the industry, if you like. You know, they're trying. I once knew a lawyer who couldn't afford to come on the platform, and it's not expensive. But he said that he couldn't even afford to eat. He wasn't earning the money. He couldn't even afford to buy some shopping. I felt
man, that's rough.
And you know, and he had a partner, and she couldn't. They were in it together, trying to build up the practice. And they couldn't even pay their rent really and get shopping and stuff like that. So I mean, I just gave them a freebie. And
I spoke to one of our clients the other day, and one of my questions for him on the podcast was, you know, what was one piece of advice for new attorneys? And more or less it was, you know, get ready to work hard. And he told me this story about when he started, and you know, he was working crazy hours, you know, 12, 16-hour days, not making any money, sleeping in the building that he had his office in. So yeah, I mean, you don't really realize that behind the prestige and the, you know, just the air that the legal industry has to outsiders, you don't really realize that they're starting a business like any other entrepreneur, and a lot of them are broke, you know.
Any entrepreneurs, we all struggle with our businesses at the beginning, and things that, especially now, I don't even want to say post-COVID, because we're not post-COVID, we're still in it. It's harder and harder for entrepreneurs to actually break out and make a living. A lot of the coaching that I do, and I primarily, my main thing is coaching people, coaching entrepreneurs, and coaching, you know, executives and leaders and lawyers and things. And what I see is, if they have a different mindset and they tackle things in a different way, they can thrive and not survive. But the unfortunate thing is that you then have this whole, it's like mass consciousness about how everything is hard. And even for a small law firm, it's really hard to get by, and all these stories. But really all it needs is a change of mindset and hard work, because nothing comes easy. Listen, I can't remember who was it wrote the 4-hour work week. That was the biggest load of bull that I have. when everybody was raving about the author who's out there, I'm sorry, I'm not tacking your book in any. Let's face it, there ain't no thing, there's such a thing as a 4-hour work week. It just don't happen. You've got to be willing to actually get your hands dirty and do the work.
Yeah, for sure. So what would be your answer to that question? What's one thing that a new attorney or somebody starting their firm out would, you know, what's the first thing they should be focused on?
think emotional connection first and content second. Okay. The reason being is because everybody has got this whole buy or die syndrome to that. Buy my product, buy my service, buy this, I can get you this, I can get you this money, this fee, But think about really emotionally connecting, because it's a long-term business, not a short-term cash. Yes, you do need some short-term jobs, and you can take that. You can support other attorneys. But I would say is whatever niche you're in, let's say it's immigration or even divorce law, something like that, is look at the biggest problems, and not the biggest questions that they're asking, but look at the emotional problems that people are having and become empathetic with those problems, and then offer them solutions to those problems. 9 times out of 10, when you make that emotional connection and you make that build that trust with them, you're going to develop a long-term relationship it's going to develop in business. There's no way about it. Business is all about relationships, no matter what business you're in. Whether you sell carpets on the side of the road or you sell oranges in Florida on the side of the road, cats that you see, it's all about relationships. People remember kindness. They remember you being empathetic and listening. So if you can listen to problems and identify the issues in your niche, then start to generate the content around serving those issues. Do not generate the content to sell. It doesn't work. Generate the content to inform and educate and be empathetic and make a connection.
That's great advice. We've been listening to John Brocas, founder of helplawyer.com. John, where can people go to learn more about helplawyer.com?
Just go to helplawyer.com. If you need to ask any questions, you can just go to the little chat button. I have to say, I thought we were chatting. This was awesome because I didn't realize you were recording.
Yeah.
So it's like chatting like a couple of old mates. Just go to Help Lawyer. If you've got any questions, then jump in. If you really need, advice is free. Maybe when I go to you as a lawyer, advice is not free. But if you come to me, I'm going to give you advice on how to do things. So Help Lawyer is a great platform for new lawyers starting out, small lawyers, small businesses. And there's a lot of features that you can use. But any feature in any website is great. It's only the power behind it that makes the difference. And that's where I think outside of the box for my members.
Well said. Well said. Thanks, John. I appreciate you taking the time today.
No problem, brother. That was good.
Thanks for listening to the ESQ Marketing Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.